Hey guys, Andrew McFarland here from StartAJuiceBar.com. Hope you're feeling amazing. And today I want to ask the question, does cold pressing actually save you money? Many of you out there might be deciding whether or not to go with a cold press juicer, whether or not to use a centrifugal juicer, make juices to order. What's better, what's worse? We know that there's some nutritional benefits to cold pressing, obviously, but we also know that when you're cold pressing, it can be a little bit more complicated than just using a centrifugal juicer. Now, I want to talk about some things that you may not have considered in this process and just some of the implications in order to hopefully give you guys more confidence in whatever direction you do decide to go. So the first thing that I want to say is that, yes, it's clear that when you cold press, you are going to increase your yields exponentially. So in terms of your product cost, it's a no-brainer. You are going to save money in your product. And we know that, as you've heard me say, in this industry, your product costs are one of the major categories. It's really your product cost and it's your labor costs, right? So if you can save money on any of those two areas, then you're going in the right direction. But then the next thing is, how does this relate to your labor? Because in reality, when you're cold pressing, it can potentially increase your labor. Now, the caveat to this is really dependent on the volume of juice that you're making and the kind of cold press you're utilizing. So in terms of the product cost, it's clear, it's straightforward. No matter what, you're going to save money there. But sometimes when you're making, let's say, a singular juice, if you were to have a large cold press machine and you were only going to make 16 ounces of juice, guess what? It would be a lot faster to make that juice in a centrifugal juicer than in a big hydraulic press. But what if you're making 50 juices? Is it going to be faster for you to do that in a press, or is it going to be faster for you to do that in a centrifugal juicer? So normally what happens is the more juice you begin to make, the more efficient it becomes, not only in product cost, but also in labor to make that through a hydraulic press. And so the reason I also want to bring this up is because a lot of times people are thinking about the short-term expense of a cold press when they really need to be thinking about the short-term and long-term expense, because you might save yourself, I don't know, $10,000 depending on the unit that you're looking at, $10,000, $15,000 up front, $20,000 up front. But then when you start to do the math at the end of the year, you have to really ask yourself, how much money did we really save? Did we actually end up losing money in the long run? And so sometimes you have to invest in the infrastructure in order to have the right machinery to make that money long term. And that's what investing is all about. It's all about the long-term value of whatever it is that you're doing. And so it is true. Product costs, great. You have to really look at how much volume of business are you planning on doing. The other thing is that now that there is the X1 Mini that Good Nature made, that unit is actually allowing you a lot more freedom and flexibility in terms of the process of pressing juice. It's a lot faster than it used to be because it has these automated settings on it, and you can put the setting in, you can walk away, you can clean something, you can take another customer's order, then you can get back to serving that juice when you need to. And so we actually have a client right now that we're working with that's going to be cold pressing to order, which really has never been done in the industry before, but because this machine exists, now there's a lot more flexibility in respect to how you utilize your labor dollars because of the way that unit is put together. If you're interested also in one of these units and you have any questions about it or whatever it is, you can just send me an email personally at andrew@StartAJuiceBar.com. I would love to answer any questions you have in terms of our clients' experiences or whatever you need to know about this particular juicer. And in general, it's not to say that everything has its pros and cons, because you guys have probably seen I made a video about what's the best juicer. It's not really that there's a best. There's the best juicer for particular things, particular business models, particular volumes of business. Once you get to a certain volume of business, you're going to need to upgrade your juicer. You're going to need to upgrade your facility. It's always going to evolve. But the thing that I really wanted to impress upon you guys in this video was to realize that there is sort of this rate of return. When you start to increase the volume of juice that you're making, it starts to make more sense to cold press, not just from a quality standpoint and the product and the yield, but really in terms of how much labor you're going to save because of the volume of juice that you can create at any given period of time. And so you have to assess whether your market's really ready for it, and can you make the initial investment. But long term, it usually makes a lot more sense if you do hit that threshold. Now, once again, if your juice sales are really, really low and you're just doing it on the side and you're not really planning on having this be a significant part of your business, then maybe it won't make sense. But most of us in this community are thinking about running juice bar businesses where there is a good emphasis on juice. And so ultimately, you want to get your sales to the place where it can support that kind of operation. So I hope this maybe helps open your mind a little bit about how you're thinking about the equipment that you're going to purchase. I know it's a big deal. It's a very significant purchase. And so you got to be well informed before you make that decision. So if you like the video, press the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I invite you to subscribe. If you have questions or comments, or you just want to tell me that you love the content, happy to hear it. You can put it in the comment box below. If you're not following us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram. And if you're not listening to the Juice Bar Experts podcast on iTunes, also encourage you to listen to that. There's a lot of great content there, and you can listen to it passively, maybe while you're driving to work in the morning, to give you some inspiration about starting this business. This is Andrew McFarland with StartAJuiceBar.com. Reach out to us if you need support, and I'll see you guys at the next video.